Hey Flora members, today we're making the Thomas Keller zucchini method. If you've ever made zucchini and it came out kind of slimy and not really great, this method is delicious and perfect every single time. So zucchini is a great IBS friendly vegetable. It's one of those vegetables that's lower in FODMAP, so it is likely not to cause bloating. And I'm just gonna start by slicing the zucchini in half. The long way to expose the inner flesh. You can keep the stem on if you want. I'm going to, because that's how Thomas Keller does it. Thomas Keller is a famous chef, by the way. He does a lot with Masterclass, if you're familiar with that. The next thing I'm doing is I'm scoring the zucchini. So I'll show you exactly what this looks like, but I'm just drawing little cross marks across the flesh of the zucchini diagonally. So first diagonal, and then I'm gonna go across that so that I create little squares. And what this is doing is allowing the moisture to come out of the zucchini, and then when we grill it, it's gonna make some beautiful marks. So this is what it should look like with those, cross-hatching slices. And I'm gonna do this on all the zucchinis, and I'm gonna salt them with flaky salt or regular salt pretty heavily because I'm going to wipe this salt off. And the salt is what is gonna draw the moisture out of the zucchini so they can get nice and delicious and crisp and not soggy. So I'm gonna do that and then let this sit for 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'll come back and show you the next steps. All right, so these have been sitting for about 15 minutes, and you can see when you make this, that little water droplets have come to the surface. So this helps to draw the water out, and we're just gonna give it a little wipe down. Sometimes I even squeeze them a little bit so that more liquid comes to the surface. But as we wipe them down, you wanna heat a skillet, could be a nonstick or a cast iron, and give it a good spray with avocado oil, or add about a tablespoon of avocado oil. Let that heat up. And then we're going to pat this down. You want to damp. You can see a lot of liquid comes out. It's going to remove a lot of the salt, and some of the salt is going to stay on there, which is totally fine. If you are for some reason avoiding salt, you could wipe it all off, but I love salt on my vegetables. Makes them taste so much better. All right, so these are nice and dry, and then I'm just going to make sure this gets hot. You know when your oil is hot, when it starts to glisten and move. So this needs about a little bit, maybe like 20 seconds. Make sure your oven is also preheated. So we're going to sear these zucchini and then pop them in the oven at 425 for about 20 minutes. One thing that I always talk about in my sessions is diversifying your nutrition. And if you've never cooked a vegetable, this is a more elaborate way of cooking a vegetable, but in general, I love roasting my veggies. So I just chop them up, toss them in a little bit of avocado oil, and roast them until they're crisp and tender on the inside. And zucchini in particular is a great thing to saute. I have done it roasted, but I do really like it sauteed. All right, so this oil is nice and hot. I can see because it's moving, and I'm just gonna place my zucchini down, and you know it's hot because it starts to sizzle. And you wanna make sure that the zucchini is face down and it's really making contact with that oil. Awesome, so I'm gonna let that sear for 5 minutes. I'm not gonna touch it. All right, friends, so while your zucchini is cooking, you wanna make sure that it's not burning. So adjust the heat as you need to. These have been searing for about 5 minutes, and now I'm going to place them facing up on a baking sheet covered with parchment. All right, so I will show you what this looks like. Basically, the pan searing just gives it a nice golden layer, and my pan was a little bit too small, so the edges didn't get as much golden brown as the centers. So if you have a larger pan, this is a large pan, but the edges are a little bit curved, so that's why the zucchini wasn't totally flat. But now they're gonna get a nice little spray of avocado oil, or you could drizzle a little bit more avocado oil, and I'm gonna put them in the oven to get a little bit more tender and golden brown for about 20-25 minutes. All right, friends, so my zucchini just came out of the oven and it's nice and soft and tender and crisp on the top from searing. So I'm gonna add that onto a plate and show you how I top this. I ended up cutting this one in half so it would fit onto my pan. So I think Thomas Keller likes to top his with fresh herbs, which would be delicious. I think he did mint on his, but you could do basil or parsley. I'm actually just gonna do a little bit of fresh arugula to give it some color, as well as some pumpkin seeds. You could crush up some pistachios. That would be so good. I think he does his with pistachios toasted in a pan. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of feta as well. If you're dairy-free though, absolutely feel free to skip that part, or you could do a dairy-free cheese. But it is a very small amount of cheese if you are not dairy-free, but you just don't like to have a lot of dairy. It's just a nice flavor aspect. All right, so the last thing I'm gonna add is just a little bit of finishing with extra virgin olive oil. And you do want to make sure that when you are cooking with avocado oil and finishing with olive oil. Extra virgin olive oil is better for finishing because it's not very stable under high heat. Look how delicious this looks. Who says acid reflux friendly foods and IBS friendly foods can't be delicious, gourmet? Give this a taste. The texture is absolutely perfect. It's crisp on the outside, nice and soft on the inside. Such a fun way to mix things up and try something new. If you make this, please tag me, let me know how it goes, and if you have any requests for recipes, definitely submit them under the submit a question under programs. That is life-changing zucchini. It's so soft. It tastes like how zucchini should taste. Enjoy.